I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What is up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Talk Radio podcast with my ghoul brother from another ghoul mother, Mr. Tony of the Dead. We are the Ghouls of Midnight. This is episode 76, where each week he and I alternate between picks, choosing a film to review and sit down with, past, present, or future. And this time around, we actually got a little of a gift from, who is the Saban Films. Sent us a pre-screening of Traumatika from 2025. Comes out September 12th. So still a few days, but we got a chance to view this early. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. It's directed by Pierre Tissagardaradis. I probably butchered the shit out of that. Stars the lovely Rebecca Kennedy as Abigail, Raynon Navat as Mikey, Emily Goss as Alice, and Susan Gale Watts. And before we get into our review too deeply, let's check out the trailer for Traumatika.
Child is believed to have been abducted from his home over 9 months ago. This is the 4th child abduction in the past 12 months in the Los Angeles County area.
There's a demon. Preys on children.
Don't make a sound. If I can hear you or see you, then the monster will come and get you.
You look nervous.
What have I done? I'm so sorry I brought it here. Brought what?
The child's in the house. The child.
And there you go. So Traumatic is, again, a 2025 horror film, and it is basically follows Mikey, whose night terrors become reality when his mother begins showing signs of demonic possession. So, your first thoughts when viewing Traumatika?
It's a fucked up ride, that's for sure. It's weird. It's like it's there's parts where it's like really disgusting, and there's a lot of jump scares, and I like that it switches from the typical like movie into like a found footage like looking type of film.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over the place. I mean, it's crazy. It's confusing also, but yeah, I don't know. It kept me watching, I'll tell you that much, but I was like kind of confused almost the whole time. So
yeah, so it's weird too because again, this film, even when you look in the trailer, it brings a little bit of like the Evil Dead in there, brings a little bit of like Halloween. It's got a lot of different things that it's playing with in terms of inspiration. But one thing that I picked up on, obviously, especially as we got through like maybe halfway of the film, is that I started to see maybe what the director was trying to tell story-wise. And it's also one of the reasons why, not that particular reason, but there are reasons why I kind of felt like they should have did some things differently, but I'll get into that a little bit. So we have a town, and, kids start disappearing, and we get introduced to a woman, a kid named Mikey, as well as a woman named Abigail. And as we follow them, they're in this old, like, raggedy house. Looks like it's been shut down again. It has like that whole Michael Myers, like, not living there anymore type thing.
Yeah.
So Mikey disappears. He gets taken. And so we find out that Abigail, and it kind of does like some flashbacks a little bit here and there, but Abigail had taken him and was keeping him as almost like a kid or like her own kid in a sense. And we obviously find out also that she seems possessed by something, but it comes and goes. Like she can sometimes be in a normal form, again has that Evil Dead kind of vibe, and then other times she has this, like as she says, she brings out the monster. And I forget how Alice was introduced, but she is Mikey's sister, I think.
Yeah, or she's Abigail's sister.
Abigail's okay.
Yeah, and they don't really show her much. She's just on a couch watching TV with her, and back in the day.
Yeah, okay, so that's what it was. So, and she was the youngest, right? So,
Yeah,
we start to get flashbacks with Abigail, and clearly her home life with Alice and the father, who was separated at the time, was abusive, and so we start to learn that he was improperly touching her. So we get that, and that's going to play a big part in how the theme of the film kind of rolls along when it comes to trauma and how it can shape somebody going forward. But then we also get, of course, where the cops finally show up to the house where Abigail's at and gets let in. And then, of course, this turns into where the cop, Abigail just kind of disappears, like she's acting weird. I always thought it was cool, too, because they have like this little like mark on her, like this scar that she has on her lip, which obviously came from her dad at some point when she was younger, but it was still there even with all the other things going on. So it was kind of like off-putting, but you kind of understood.
Yeah.
But
at first I thought it was like a cleft lip at first, but yeah, I guess trauma and stuff with their father. See, I didn't understand, like, was he abusive or was it because of the possession? Or are we supposed to like see it at
exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for the director, but I'm thinking that everything that we're actually seeing is actually just a manifestation of what they think it is. So like Mikey sees a monster, but in reality, that monster is just the trauma that's happening from what's going on. It's like it's being handed down from the dad to the daughter, Abigail, and now to Mikey. And so that's kind of how I took it. And I actually like the concept. I think that's actually a very clever way to bring it about. It's the only reason why I would dislike some of the stuff that we see and why you were a little bit confused, or you might not be confused. Maybe that is, we're supposed to believe there really was a demonic possession, but my assumption was that demon never existed. That's how I kind of perceive, and that's how I kind of like it.
Yeah.
However, the mistake that's made is that they actually give the demon a form, which I hate. Like I wasn't impressed with the demon at all. I would have liked it better if they just used shadow work to kind of make it look like the kid was seeing something, or even Abigail or whoever was seeing demon of sorts, and then we can kind of play off of that trauma thing. But it is kind of broken up. Like we said, we got the present where Abigail has Mikey. She's already kidnapped 2 other kids. Now this was something where Abigail was supposed to try to get a perfect kid for the demon to possess. And that was the whole purpose. And so she had already taken like 2 or 3 kids prior, like in months ahead of that. And we found out that they are no longer with us. And then we get the past, of course, with Abigail, Alice's youngsters, and then, of course, the father and the stuff that he was doing. Again, whether you take it as a literal interpretation of being possessed, or if you take it just as this guy was just a bad dude. And then, of course, we get the future where Alice is older. She's written a book about her experiences, and we get introduced to, obviously, let me give you a quick look at, here's Abigail, of course. And, of course, here is Mikey. But this other woman here with Alice, older Alice, is like a host of a show, and this in the present, she's actually interviewing Alice about her book and the crimes, because obviously eventually they get a hold of Mikey and save him from Abigail, supposedly, because Mikey's pretty traumatized. But she's interviewing Alice on Halloween, so it's a big deal. And of course, that lady just wants the ratings. That's all she cares about, is getting ratings, and it's like sky high. And and of course, Mikey, we learn, has been in a mental institution for a while to deal with like whatever he was going through. And again, he might have to refresh my memory on this, because like I saw it towards the end of the weekend. But did he escape, or did he just get out? I can't remember.
I don't know. She's at home and he calls her.
Yeah.
I just assumed that he was home, and he doesn't talk or anything. And then I don't know. That's the part was confusing. I didn't know what. I thought he was at home being watched, and then he just like kind of was like catatonic, and then like.
I think you're right. I think because he's always much older now, and he might have had some medication or something at one point. But yeah, he was. They were showing him sitting at home, and he was very despondent and not really out. He's just kind of there, and then I guess him hearing about her on the show or whatever kind of triggered him to call her.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he goes to make his way to her, and ends up like he's got like the whole like early Jason mask on the bag on the head, or the town that dreaded sundown type shit going on. So again, more like inspiration from horror.
Well, it's just Halloween. I mean, Christ, his name is Mikey.
Yeah.
And he was little, and then all that shit happened. Now he's older. Now this little sister is older, so she's Lori, and it's like so similar. Like it's a little too close, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the design of the tropes, but it does follow a lot of things that we've seen. Like I said, the jump scares you mentioned are very much stuff that we see with Evil Dead. Like it's just a lot of like, ooh, peekaboo through the shadows and stuff like that, and all that. So, I mean, the special effects were good. I liked them. They were pretty good. I didn't mind that, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Again, wasn't really happy with the literal demon. Like I thought that was like a little bit too much, especially with the message that I think the director was giving. Like it seems like, okay, that's a bit too much. Like, it would have been better just to keep playing off of the shadows, almost like what they did with The Exorcist. Like, you wouldn't actually see a demon. It was just kind of stuff going on around him, like almost apparition like.
Right. Yeah. Because like when you saw the demon, you could tell it's just a guy in makeup.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too with this movie. There were parts where it looked really good. It was like a very well done. And then there was like parts that was like they must have added in later on. It was just like looked like shit, like where that talk show host is driving and supposedly talking on her speakerphone. That looked like crap. It was like what is going on? But then the person she's talking to, it's like a really nice shot. And then this is like a camera phone shot on here. And it's like, this makes no sense. It was like it just ruined the realism of the movie if there was any.
Well, you said it yourself that they were kind of jumping around between actual filmmaking and then like found footage type stuff. So they were kind of all over the place. Maybe not either they're trying to pay homage to the old stuff like Blair Witch and all that or whatever, but
yeah,
again, like, or they just did a bad job of editing, like however you want to look at it. But so obviously in the present day, Mikey's on the loose, and he goes to the studio where this show is being shot, and of course he goes on a rampage and just starts killing people randomly, and eventually we get that ending confrontation between Alice and the lady versus Mikey, and pretty much where the film ends, like they end up killing him. But it's like again, like, is there going to be more trauma, or is the trauma over? Like, I mean, I do like the concept of it all. I do like the fact that they're kind of playing off of that, but because of, like, they spent so much time with trying to, like, they really poured it on with the, like, oh, it's a demonic possession. Because even at the beginning with that little figurine, we have, again, the exorcist type thing. It's found in the ruin somewhere, and then, it's brought back, and the guy's not supposed to open it. Like, Sean Whalen had a role in this, but it was very small. But he's the only one that's like, don't open that shit. Don't do it.
Don't open it. Don't open it. The next scene, what does the guy do? Opens it. Like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
And then he's like doing like a documentary. He's like, I told that son of a bitch, don't open it.
Yeah. So it's like, the stuff they put in there with the possession stuff, I'm like, it's a little too literal. Like, I like the idea that you want to play off the fact that trauma can create these delusions and stuff like that to where you think you might be possessed. Which I would have appreciated more. I thought that the literal sense of what they were trying to do kind of ruined the way they were trying to do it. Like, at least to me, like, because even when I read up on it, people pretty much come to the idea that this is about trauma. It's about, like, going through shit and then somehow passing that shit down to other people through that trauma. And so that's why it just kept going down and down and down. So it was like kind of a disappointment that they wanted to show us an actual demon, and then the other references they kept making about demon, rather than say, you know what, they just went fucking crazy, man. They had a bad life, and this is what happened because of it.
Because that part where she's like with the knife, and it's showing like the father pushing it on her, and then there's like showing another shot where it's her doing to herself. Which those scenes were pretty intense, I gotta say. Like, that part was like, oh, like pretty crazy to watch, like looking at it. And then the part with like the blood in her mouth and stuff like that, it was pretty friggin' gross. And then it's just it got, some of it was pretty disgusting. I was like, oh my god, shit. I don't know. I'm getting bad in my old age. I can't handle it sometimes. But
yeah, well, you're right, though, because again, the knife scene looks almost like what we would have saw in Evil Dead, like, the taking of the arm off and stuff like that. So they didn't quite go that far, but that was definitely something implied. But then you could see it again through a regular lens that she was just traumatized from her childhood, and she was cutting and hurting herself, and clearly hurting these kids because she believed that the demon was passed down through her father to be a bad person. This is why she left.
Because she did get pregnant by her father, and then she took care of it, and then her father, that's where her father started showing up, and you gotta get one for him. That was his kid. So and then she goes, still goes and takes these kids. They only see him take her. You only see her take the one, but it was a pretty intense scene. It's also like hey, you better watch your kids kind of like message as well, because man, I mean, the kid was around like my son's age, and it's pretty heartbreaking to see. It's like, I'm scared of that shit.
Yeah, I was that's a good point, because, like, again, if we only dabble with the idea that they believe that they're being possessed, it would have been kind of neater to kind of see, like, the true breakdown of Abigail, and, like, to see her take maybe not all the kids, but the last one before Mikey, and what she did with the body. Like, even if it's a flashback, it would be traumatizing for us, the viewers, but I think it would hit home much harder with the messages that I believe that the director is trying to say. But he kind of skirts around that a little bit. Like, even though this movie does have some gore scenes, we don't quite see everything that we probably want to at this stage, because, like, it probably would have been more impactful at that point. But then again, budgets and everything else play a factor. You don't know exactly what they're working with. And of course, you have to worry about whether the MPAA is going to allow certain things to be shown, like, especially with kids. So you have to be careful with that. But in this day and age, usually they show just about everything anyway. So you never know.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, this one pushed the boundaries a little bit, but didn't go like too far over. Like Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. I always compare it to like something like that. Like that was like those kind of movies they go far. Like, oh man, they push the boundaries. And this wanted to, you could tell, but I guess because of the subject matter, they definitely held back a little. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that review the film, they speak about how it's a clever movie with trying to deal with like actual trauma from people, but because it does hit home closer, and maybe again that's why the director chose to lay it heavy with the possession type stuff, because he didn't want people to view it and then like if they have their own trauma come out of the theaters like, oh my god, I feel awful for watching this.
Yeah.
But I still think that sometimes movies like that are great because it allows people to kind of deal with that trauma in a certain way and understand it. Like, maybe not killing people, but they can say to themselves, yeah, I've been where that girl's at, like maybe not hurting everybody else, but maybe myself because of what happened to me. So so I do appreciate what some of the things the director was trying to do in here. It just didn't really hit on all cylinders like I wanted it to, but not a bad film. Not a bad film. So go ahead and give me your final thoughts and your rating for Traumatika.
I thought it was. I thought it wasn't bad. I mean, some of the acting was most of the acting was pretty good. There was, like I said before, it was a little confusing with things like how you're supposed to take it. Was there really a demon or not? I don't know. It's a good discussion starter, though, I guess.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't watch it again. I'll be honest. But I think for a lower budget, they tried. They did a good job of what they did. It's just like it doesn't explain like why does she have these things all over her face now? Like what's that? Is she just that dirty, or is it a demon? Like
some of it looked like boils. So again, if you're talking about possession, that would be kind of a sign you might see. So
right.
Again, how as a viewer, how are we supposed to actually take it literally or not literally? Because it seems like it's more of the personal trauma, but the director is giving us all this other stuff to make us think it's actually possession.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. But I don't know. I guess I would probably say it's like, I don't know, maybe a 6.57 there. 6.5. I don't really want to give it. I give a lot of 7s out and stuff like that. I feel like that's for like a better movie. And this, to me, it's just I don't know. It's just too all over the place for me. Too confusing. So yeah.
6. So 6.5. Okay, so for me, this, like I said, if they had done some different things and laid off the literal essence of the demonic possession and all that, and stuck more with some of the other stuff and kind of focused on that, because you can still play with the idea that these people aren't right and that there might be something possessing them, but the director could have put it on a lower scale and then concentrated on the actual traumas of that, because as viewers, we all figure it out anyway. We're seeing what's going on. We can kind of understand, it's being passed down. And we're seeing that, it's one thing if Abigail was never abused. Like then you can say, well, maybe it is just demonic possession. But because we do get that, certainly it's telling a kind of different story through a different lens. So I love the concept of this, but I agree with you that I'm not sure I'd sit and watch it again, just because, once you watch it once, you've kind of got the point of what it's trying to tell you, even though it's not perfect. So, I mean, I give it a 7. It's not something I'm going to watch again, but it's decent enough for a one-time watch if you want to, as you said, have a conversation about the actual meaning behind what's going on here, because it is an interesting discussion to have. It's a nice take on the horror genre because he's trying to think outside the box, which is good. But it's only about a 7 out of 10 for me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're about the same. So as usual.
As usual. Yeah. Well, for those wondering, we'll be doing the next episode of Ghouls on Mr. Tony's channel. So be sure to go check that out, episode 77.
Yeah.
And that's going to be The Tourist Trap, 1979, with Chuck Connors. And so he has never seen it. I have. I've seen it a few times, watched it again today. So I'll be interested to hear Mr. Tony's verdict on that one. But if you like our discussion on this, like and subscribe and jump down in the comments. I don't know if some of you other people have reviewed it and checked it out, but let us know your thoughts. Are you interested at all in the topic? I hope you might check it out when it comes out. At least show some support to Saban Films. I mean, they did work hard on this film. Obviously, you can tell. But let us know your thoughts about it if you've seen it or want to see it. And we'll see you on the next one on the Ghouls of Midnight on the Metal Tower podcast and Mr. Tony the Dead's channel.
Have a good
Later,
night.
folks. Ghouly, ghouly, ghouly.
You see me before you die.